how to find a host on Couchsurfing, and how to write a great couch request. First of all, what is a couch request? That's basically the message or the request that you send to a person if you want to stay at their place. And this is what you do on the website Couchsurfing. So I'm here on the dashboard. This is what you would see if you made your account. And now I will want to travel to Berlin. I'm trying to find a host in Berlin. So what I will do now, in the search bar you see here at the top of the website, I will now search for Berlin. There are different Berlins you can choose from, and I want to go to the one in Germany, to the most famous one. So you will now navigate to this very site. I will explain you in the next video what more features you can find here. But now what we want to focus on is basically here, find a host. So we'll click on this button, find a host, and now we will get a list of all the hosts, of all the people we can stay at in Berlin. So you see here this indicator where it says 100,000 or almost 100,000 hosts in Berlin. So maybe what you'll think to yourself now is, oh my god, I have to look through now 100,000 profiles where I'm gonna find this one person I want to stay at. Well, one thing that can really help you, and one thing I can totally recommend you now to check out, what I will use now are the so-called filters. So you can filter out what persons will show up, and there's some really useful filters I use all the time. So there's this button here, more filters. We click on this one, and you see here the different things we can now choose from and different buttons we can click. One thing that I think is super important is having here last login date in the last 24 hours or in the last week. I'm just going to put it now in the last 24 hours. Basically, it helps you to filter out those people that were last logged in a year ago or 3 years ago, 5 years ago. Probably they will not respond to your message. So I usually try to keep it in the last 24 hours or in the last week. Another thing I really like to do is actually having here like a age range of people between 18 and 30. I'm 21 and I prefer to stay at somebody's place who's kind of young, like my age, so we can connect kind of better. So I would usually put in like between 18 to 25. We'll just do it like this. And the couple of other things you can choose. If you're female, you're kind of afraid of staying at the home of somebody who's male, you can choose the gender female. Different things you can choose, but these are usually the things I would go for. So now we click on the search, and now the host will be updated, the list of hosts, and we will see in a moment that we have now 250 hosts available in Berlin that were logged in the last 24 hours and that are up to 25 years old. So now what I would do, basically now to find the host I want to stay, I would just kind of scroll through here. I kind of just, what I do personally, maybe it sounds weird to you, I would just kind of look at the profile picture and just kind of feel and just kind of see what resonates with me. Who looks nice? Where would I like to stay? What I really like to see is the face of the person. And if I find somebody who looks like somebody I would like to get to know better, I will click on the profile and then we will write the couch request. I will not click now on any of those profiles because I don't want to invade the privacy of those people. So I was actually preparing my own profile here. So this is what you would see now as an example of a person that you might want to get to know. What I really recommend you now when you go through the profile of a host, of a potential post, just really find out, would you like to get to know the person? I think it's really like back in the days, I was used to write to everybody, and sometimes it happened that I met people where I couldn't really connect, where it was kind of boring, the experience. So nowadays, when I stay at the home of somebody, I always want to make sure there's something I'm genuinely interested in this person. So now I recommend you just to look for the profile, see if there's any mutual interest, see if there's anything cool about this person, and highly recommend it. Definitely check the references. Does it positive references? What do people write about this person? Is he a nice person? Also make sure to go into the My Home section. It's very important. And also important, read through everything really, because you can find a lot of things about this person by just reading up through everything. And not everybody does it. I really find a lot of people that don't read my profile, and I can sometimes really just see how some people write me couch requests without really reading my profile. So in my home section, make sure to read this. It's very important thing to see, because then you can find out if you will stay on a couch, if you will stay on the floor, maybe you need a sleeping bag. You can find out many things for this. So you think like, hey, this person looks interesting, I would like to stay with this person. You can click here on this button called send request. I can't do it now. This profile is just like a test profile, and I would need to do a couple of things right now. This couch request, but what I can recommend you, or what you will see basically when you click on this button, you will see a section where you can put in the dates, like you want to stay for one night on this date in December. You can specify how many travelers are coming. I usually put in one because I'm usually solo traveling. And then lastly, and it's like what I really want to touch on now, and this is really what makes a big reference what you write in there. You can write like a message to the person, and it's something like, hey, I'm coming now to your place. You can maybe write something about yourself, why you want to come and everything. That's a couch request. What I don't recommend you, what I see a lot of people doing with couch requests, they copy paste it. It's like, hey, I arrived today in the city, can I stay at your place? Thank you. Like, this will not work. Especially if you copy paste to everybody in the city, it will not work. You will probably not even get a reply. So what I recommend, and also what Couchsurfing officially recommends, is to have it personalized. So you write to the person, hey, I think this is cool about you, and write something about what you're interested in this person. So if you find out, oh, this person likes to cook, I like to cook also, write in the couch request, hey, I like to cook also, I've seen that you like cooking, maybe we could connect through this, maybe we can cook something together, I can invite you for dinner tonight. And the way I write couch requests, but I can really recommend you, is first of all, I would have at the beginning something like, hey, then the name of the host, like now in my case, if I would write to myself, to Elias Stadler, I would write something like, hey Elias. Then I would write kind of like a copy paste message where I would just write something about my trip. I'm right now hitchhiking from Germany to Portugal, and I'm now for the first time in France. I just arrived in your city, and I would like to stay for 2 days here. So this would be something copy-paste, you can write to everybody. Then at the end of the Couchsurfing request, I would write something that's specific to this person. Hey, I've seen you also like video making, maybe we could make a video together. And then, that's it basically. And also what I can recommend, don't just write to one person, write to multiple people, but also don't just write to everybody blindly. As a small advice, just find your tribe on Couchsurfing. So really find those people where you really feel like, hey, I would love to stay at the home of this person. And also make sure, especially, it can happen sometimes, you get desperate, nobody wants that you stay at their place. Don't just kind of shut down like your brain is just write to everybody. And I'll also actually later on talk about safety on Couchsurfing. There are reasons why you actually shouldn't just blind yourself and just write to everybody.